Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we're live, bro.
Folks, you see what this Giants team has done to me? We're not even at Halloween point. Okay. I haven't even begun my horror movie marathon yet. And I specifically chose to wear red and black today because the Giants season is already dead. And eventually, much like these colors, it's going to be going to hell soon. Um, as wrong as I had, excuse me, as right as I've been all year about certain other teams, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Dolphins, the Bills, as right as I've been on all of those teams, even the Steelers and the Ravens, two of my dark horse AFC title contenders. As right as I've been about those teams throughout the first quarter of the year, I could not have been more dramatically wrong than, unfortunately, my New York Giants. Because this season is already gone, it's already dead, and again, eventually, it's going to go to hell soon. And I'm utterly flabbergasted. Where do we begin, Logan? Let's start with the giant elephant in the room. Logan, you and I are film fans, okay? You and I are very into the same type of genre. We both love horror. We both love science fiction. We both love blockbuster action movies. We dabble with comedies here and there. I much appreciate how much you love The Nice Guys. That was one of my 5 favorite movies.
Check out The Covenant by Guy Ritchie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Third best movie of the year. I just watched it last night.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But I want to throw out a movie analogy to you. Okay?
Okay.
As it represents this season. You obviously, you and your family are very familiar with the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how in every skit or in every show, just when you think they can't torture themselves even more so, they figure out a new way to dwell themselves into more pain.
Yeah.
That's basically the representation of the Giants this year. I didn't think it was possible for 40-0 to be. I didn't think it was possible to outdo 40-0. Then we got outscored 20-0 by the Cardinals.
Yeah.
You know, we're going into the Niners game. We were all anticipating a loss. But in all seriousness, that game was such an event of emotions. Like, I knew the Giants were going to lose right away. I was hoping that it was not going to be a blowout. It somewhat turned into a competitive game, and then just when I was getting my hopes up, Niners did what they were supposed to do. First drive of the game, or really I should say second drive of the game. Seattle goes up. No, excuse me. They punted away after the Giants could not pick up a 4th and a yard on the most obvious quarterback sneaks on one of the most pathetic quarterback sneaks I've ever seen in my entire life. Giants get the ball back deep in their own zone. Deep in their own end zone. We get a little breathing space, and I had thought, or I had believed, that Daniel was going to get over this bugaboo. Of course, as soon as they put up the stat, 62 touchdowns since he's entered the league, total. 62 turnovers. In the back of my mind, I'm like, please, please do not let this be a reverse jinx. I mean, excuse me, please don't let this be a jinx that a turnover is about to happen. And it did. And you and I had talked about this about an hour ago when I was discussing the parallels between this team and Eli's second to last year of his career. After we drafted Saquon.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, but when Tom Brady played his last game as a Buccaneer, and Buccaneers are driving, I think it was 3-0 at this point, and he just lost one of the ugliest ducklings I've ever seen in my entire life. And it gets picked off with ease in the back of the end zone. As soon as that throw happened, I said it, I believe that right then and there, he's done. He's finished. He's cooked. He doesn't want to take the hits. He doesn't work. He's staring down the pass rush. He's not looking up the field. Jalen Hyatt is open, can't find him. Darren Waller is up the seam, can't find him. Where's his eyes, Logan? Where are his eyes?
On the hot route from pre-snap all the way until the end of the play. And it's been that way since Pat Shermer left.
And again, I fully believed, second year under our head coach, an offensive line that should be improved. Weapons that definitely are improved. And I know people are going to talk about, but Andrew Thomas is out. The offensive line is still a mess.
With a completely healthy team in week 1, we lost 40-0.
I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done. I should have been done last year.
And if you really think about it, right? People want to complain that the O-line was bad in week 1 too. Well, we supposedly improved the O-line. We drafted JMS. Evan Neal is supposed to be going into his second year. Andrew Thomas is a top 2 left tackle. I don't want to hear the excuses anymore, bro. I'm done. They need to tear it down. And I'm not going to go too far into the conversation we had on the phone because I'm making a full 20-minute video out of that, so I don't want to spoil that. But they need to just tear the entire offense apart, bro.
But let's get into the meat and potatoes. Because we could rag on Daniel Jones all night, but I don't want to be here until 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's talk about the construction of this roster, man, real quick. Logan, of all the resources that the Giants had utilized on this team, when you look at the money that they spent in free agency, when you look at their major draft selections, it was to improve what side of the ball?
The offense.
I was going to say no. I was going to say most of the money and draft resources, particularly our premier picks, were supposed to improve the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I look at JMS, Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell, Darren Waller.
Bobby. Who was our number 1 free agent pickup? Bobby Okereke.
Bobby Okereke. Yeah.
Who was our number 1 draft selection?
You're right.
Deontay Banks. Now, to Deontay Banks' credit,
he's been good. He's been fine for a rookie.
He's been good.
He got cooked last night, but he was going up against DK Metcalf.
He should be cooked. He should have been cooked.
Yeah.
He should have been cooked. But Don Week Martindale, where do I begin? And I don't mean to pull a Joe Judge here. Does anybody know the fundamentals of tackling? Anybody? Can anyone other than Aziz set an edge?
Kayvon Thibodeau went in a 4-3. Gotcha, motherfucker.
I will give you props on that because I always viewed Kayvon as a stand-up guy. He had his hand in there, and it was honestly one of his best performances.
2 sacks, a few pressures. I mean, you can't ask for much more.
Maybe he's built to be a 4-3 end, but that's not where I wanted to go here.
Yeah.
Bobby Okereke. Can anyone set an edge other than Aziz and Kayvon? Can anybody make an open field tackle other than Dexter Lawrence?
Bobby Okereke made a few, but he also missed on a few.
And Logan? if Adoree Jackson was going to struggle this year, don't you think it would have been? Don't you think he would have had more issues defending the slot than playing on the outside, where he spent pretty much his entire career?
Yep.
Between the missed tackling, can't set an edge, giving up 3rd and 15s on a regular basis, and you're getting pressure. I will deal with the fact that we have 2 rookie corners. But when your veteran leaders like Xavier McKinney and Bobby Okereke and fucking Micah McFadden are getting cooked on a regular basis, and Dexter Lawrence being the only guy that could set it and being the only guy that could get consistent pressure up the middle, this defense has been a laughing stock for the most part. Can't stop the run. Can't stop the run. Can't cover. They can't cover for more than 2 seconds. And listen, Geno Smith is not the most athletic quarterback in the world. He's mobile, but I wouldn't consider him mobile. I didn't even watch the entire game. I pretty much only watched the first half, and I counted at least 5 missed tackles just from Geno Smith alone. But the thing that disappoints me more so than anything else, and it's a real shame considering how high of a bar that I put on this guy. Why is it that every time we take the field, Logan, for Giants fans in general, does it seem like we have an obvious disadvantage at head coach? I mean, seriously. I'm not even talking about the play calling at this point. I'm talking about lack of preparation, lack of detail, lack of know-how. Brian Daboll, you are the reigning defending coach of the year. You were my number 1 head coaching candidate last offseason or the previous offseason. You are a hell of a head coach, a brilliant offensive mind. And I know the offensive line's deficiencies. However, Pete Carroll was rolling out 2nd and 3rd string offensive linemen, and I really couldn't tell a difference from a discipline standpoint or from a game plan standpoint. For this team, being out-talented is one thing, because we all know that even the most optimistic Giants fan will admit that this team is not that talented. It's not. But the reason why I thought we seriously closed the gap between teams like Dallas, the Seahawks, the Lions, is because we have one of the top head coaches in football, or at least one of the top young head coaches in football. Logan had brought up like a week and a half ago, and I'm going to give you credit on this, that even though Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year and rightfully deserved it, Mike McDaniel looks like the far better coaching hire for the Dolphins than Brian Daboll looks with us right now. I mean, seriously. Because, listen, obviously Miami has more top-end talent, but their scheme, their preparation, if the Dolphins had a competent level defense, they would be my runaway pick they would be my runaway pick for winning the Super Bowl this year. The Giants could roll out the 49ers defensive roster, and I wouldn't trust this team to stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, it's like, as bad as the defense is, it's not even as mad at them as I nearly am at the offense. Because like, we were in that Niners game competing for the first 2.5 quarters, and then once your offense can't put together a drive, you can't go any longer.
Logan, it's almost as if the offense doesn't put up competent drives for the first half, the energy of this team is just soulless. And I'm just at a point, man, where like, Logan, I know this is supposed to be a recap of week 4 and a potential rant right now, but you know what was the straw that broke my back when it became completely invested in being a Knicks fan and why I somewhat jumped back to the Celtics.
What was that?
You remember it was well before the pandemic. And the Knicks were, of course, having a terrible season. I'm searching on my phone. I'm getting up for work. And all of a sudden, I see this video of Spike Lee being escorted out of the Knicks building. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on here? And if you're a sports fan of any kind, you know Spike Lee is the number one diehard Knicks fan. And I don't want to get into the gory details of it all because it's utterly ridiculous. But the minute that I saw Spike Lee get ejected out of Madison Square Garden for one of the stupidest reasons known on earth, I'm like, I can't support this team the way I used to. I mean, I will always root for them. I will always watch their games. But when it comes to going back to Madison Square Garden, when it comes to representing the Knicks full time, I can't do it anymore. I just simply can't do it anymore. The way this Giants team is headed, I'm never going to give up my fandom. I'm never going to give up my Giants fan card. It'll never happen as long as I live. However, considering the direction that this team is going in, and considering how much promise, as soon as Joe Shane and Brian Dable got hired, I'm like, this is like a new lease on life. And that the year we had last year, granted, it was surrounded with circumstances heavily breaking our way. It dealt with a lot of luck, a lot of turmoil, and ultimately the team was able to overcome it. But it's almost as if the football gods are punishing us for being so good, like for being such a surprise team last year. And the way that this team is moving forward, again, I've already made the connection. This season is already dead and buried. Well, we're a few weeks away to this season completely going to hell. Because forget teams like the Dolphins and the Bills. We haven't even closed the gap against Seattle. Honestly, at this point, Washington is leagues ahead of us. I mean, hell, Logan. You could make a real argument that the Bears are ahead of us at this point. You can make an argument that a one-legged Joe Burrow and this Bengals team is ahead of us.
The Rams are ahead of us, and we thought they were the second worst team in the league. You know, the Lions closed the gap versus the Chiefs before we could.
Logan, the Lions may end up being my pick to come out of the NFC this year. And they were in our state, 3 years ago? Giving up on Matthew Stafford, fringe Hall of Famer. You get a young quarterback who really hadn't proven much. Goff was terrible with the Lions his first year. Pretty good his second year. Looks like, dare I say, is Jared Goff a top 5 level quarterback at this point?
Top 10. Don't go
top 10. Top 10 lock borderline top 5.
Oh, cracking my back.
Last year was supposed to be the floor of where Daniel was going to be at his potential. Now that may end up being his faraway ceiling.
I've given up on Daniel Jones, man. I can't defend him anymore. It's been 5 years too many. I'm done, bro. The Giants need.
We were all willing to give Daniel the benefit of the doubt because he had Joe Judge and Jason Garrett. I'm like, folks, listen. In the 4 years Daniel has been in the league, when he has a competent, forget roster, when he has an offensive mind as his head coach, when he had Pat Shurmur and Brian Dable his first two, when he had Brian Dable last year and Pat Shurmur his rookie year, at worst.
One sec. Well, Jaden, it's not about the quarterback playing behind the offensive line. Daniel Jones is our quarterback next year, no matter what. But he's here for one more year and one more year only. If the Giants finish with a top 3 pick, we're drafting a quarterback. Just fucking accept it. And then that quarterback will sit behind Daniel Jones for a year, and then we can get out of that contract and trade him away to some other team. While we're rebuilding the offensive line, we'll let Daniel Jones continue to get it. While we're rebuilding the O-line, we continue to let Daniel Jones get his ass kicked, and then by week 10 or maybe even 2025,
you're gonna pull the Eli when we had Kurt Warner.
Exactly. You said watch, we don't. Well, that's the only way to fix this team, and if they don't do that, then the team's never going to work again.
All right, and I'm gonna make this one last point, and then we could get on to our week 4 breakdown. On principle, that will work. You tear everything down this year, you draft your quarterback, you sign some stopgap offensive linemen to compete at certain positions.
Jaden, I just said that, bro. I just said that.
You sign some stopgap offensive linemen that can compete at numerous positions. Listen, you got your cornerstone at left tackle, and I believe you got your cornerstone at center. You move Evan Neal inside. Maybe he could be the long-term answer at one of those guard spots. I do not fucking care at this point. However, and I said this when I said this after the Cowboys lost, when we were ready to write the season off at that point, that I do not care what quarterback that you put behind this roster. No one is going to succeed with this roster. If Joe Shane and Brian Dable are going to turn this around, I don't care what they do this year, and I honestly don't care what they do next year because you're basically starting a rookie quarterback. The key is going to be that kid's second year, because what I am dreading is that the same thing that I complained about with Justin Fields in Chicago. You have an offensive mind as their head coach. Young quarterback has a promising rookie year. Young quarterback has a promising rookie year and shows some potential. But because the team only wins 5, 6, 7 games, you fire the head coach, and now you're carouseling head coaches again. And general managers for that point. And when the kid sucks, you're drafting another one within a few years. So
the free agent lineman this year, Jason Kelsey probably going to retire. I don't want Tyron Smith. We have a left tackle. Andreas Pete at guard. He's a really good guard. Dwayne Brown, you can move him inside. He's pretty solid. Connor Williams, solid interior lineman. Jonah Williams, good tackle. The Lions will probably re-sign him. Let me turn this down. Dan Feeney, good guard. Halalaputu Vatai is actually a pretty good guard. Don't ask me how I just pronounced that. Isaiah Wilson, trash. Graham Glasgow, pretty solid player. Matt Filer, pretty solid player. Scott Quisenberry, never heard. He's bad. Billy Turner, he's solid. Chris Reed, man, like they are from the guards that I've just listed. Connor Williams, Andre James, Aaron Brewer, Lucas Patrick, Phil Hayes, all of those guys that I just listed are,
or maybe listen.
They're league average guards. They're better than what we have.
Listen, man. Look, like I said, you got your stalwart at left tackle, you got your stalwart at center. John Michael Schmitz. I can't say enough good things about this kid. He was the draft pick that I was mostly excited about. He was my number one guy from draft day on. I think minus the Cowboys game where I thought he was sure is average. John Mike, the JMS, I think is going to end up being really good. Joshua Zudu,
trash.
We'll see.
There's a reason he was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3rd round pick.
So again, you're hoping to fill in that right tackle spot, and as you move Evan Neal inside. But ultimately, bro, like you said, Daniel at this point is a stopgap.
He is the stopgap. He is literally what Kurt Warner was for Eli Manning. I'm telling y'all right now. If y'all truly believe Daniel Jones is going to be on this Giants team in the year 2025, you're fucking tripping.
No.
He's here for one more year and one more year only, and it is as simple as that. Now, if you want to talk about wide receivers, because I would assume Campbell's gone, Slayton's gone, Shepard's gone. Obviously, you could sign a guy like Kendrick Bourne would be a decent pickup. Mecole Hardman, I'm good on. Jakeem Grant would be a good pickup for punt returns. Josh Reynolds, if Detroit doesn't get him back, he'd be a very good pickup for this Giants team.
It's probably gonna be too expensive.
That's true. T. Higgins going to be too expensive. Michael Pittman Jr. He's going to be asking for, I would assume, around $9 million a year.
Let's see how the Colts do towards the end of the year. Because if Anthony Richardson turns out to be like legit, why get rid of him?
Laviska Shenault would be a decent pickup. Van Jefferson.
Honestly, bro, when it comes to receivers and linemen, I'm just looking forward to the draft.
Okay, but if we're taking a quarterback in the first round, I'm tired of relying on third and fourth round linemen to be starters. I'm fucking tired.
You can take one in the second round.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, second round linemen don't always work. So
JMS,
he's an unproven commodity. Will Hernandez.
Okay, but that was Gettleman.
Gettleman wasn't even that bad of a drafter. He was just a terrible free agent guy. Like, I'm sorry, bro. People don't realize the 2018 draft set us back so far. We could have went Quentin Nelson and Nick Chubb. Instead, we went Saquon Barkley. Jaden, if you're picking top 3, you're literally taking a quarterback no matter what, bro. Unless you have fucking a top 10 quarterback, you're taking a fucking quarterback. We just took an offensive lineman at 7. Look how that's working out for us. Evan Neal is fucking terrible. I'm tired of this drafted O lineman in the first round. No, you sign 2 veterans. You move Neal to the interior.
Yeah, Logan, when was the last time 2 solid offensive linemen hit free agency?
It's not about drafting, bro.
No,
all the guys that I just listed are solid interior offensive linemen. They're league average starters. We have literally some of the worst in the league right now. I'll take fucking Eric Flowers back.
At guard.
At guard, yes. Bro, fuck a QB because it's not happening. Bro, I'm not even going to get into this because you don't watch college football like that. But, bro, this is just biasness towards Daniel Jones. Why the fuck would Brian Daboll if you're in Brian Dable's situation, the only way you can save your fucking job is by saying, look,
I don't think you or I are thinking, oh, Daboll is on the hot seat now.
No. If Daboll doesn't take a quarterback and they say Daniel Jones is our guy of the future, man, and we lose as many games who don't care, then why are you even listening, bro? If Brian Daboll doesn't take a quarterback and we don't win, and then we don't make the playoffs next year, Brian Daboll is fired.
There you go.
If we don't take a quarterback and we don't make the playoffs next year, Brian Daboll should be fired. I'm fucking done with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the stopgap, and I'm tired of hearing about the fucking offense. We are paying this guy as a top 5 level quarterback. We should expect him to overcome adversity.
Yeah. No, I was just about to say, bro. It's like, listen. I tried making this.
How many years in a row are we going to say draft a lineman, draft a lineman, draft a lineman, draft a lineman? It doesn't work. It doesn't. We got a fucking lucky spin of a coin with Andrew Thomas. I never said fire Brian Daboll after his second year. I said after 3 years.
Yeah.
This is bullshit, bro. I'm tired of it. Y'all don't understand this shit. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. How many times are we going to continue to overlook the fact that Daniel Jones is not a franchise quarterback?
Logan, just put it to you like this. If the 2021 draft class wasn't as terrible as a quarterback situation that you could go, is Daniel even on this roster?
No.
Like,
you saw it last night. I don't know it all. I never said I know it all. Stop putting words in my mouth.
Like, folks, I've been a Daniel Jones.
I already gave you the idea. You use Daniel Jones as the stopgap. I'm sorry to cut you off. You use Daniel Jones as the stopgap for one more season. I already told you, Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback of this team for one more season. We're drafting a quarterback if we are picking in the top 3, which we probably are.
Win.
When we finish in the top 3, we are going to draft a quarterback whether the fans like it or not. Brian Dable can only save his ass by taking his guy. Same for Joe Shane. We're going to sign some free agent veteran offensive linemen. We're going to draft offensive linemen like crazy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, wherever. We're going to trade Saquon Barkley. We're going to trade Darren Waller. We're going to get rid of every single offensive lineman on this team besides Andrew Thomas and John Michael Schmitz. We're going to get rid of Adoree Jackson. We're going to get rid of Xavier McKinney. We're going to get rid of Leonard Williams.
Logan, I'm just going to put it to you like
What if the offensive lineman isn't good, Jaden? Then what? Exactly. You can't go based off hypothetical situations.
Logan,
I can say the same shit for a fucking right tackle. Evan Neal's ass. Guess what? 7th overall pick out of Alabama. Trash.
Logan, I'll just put it to
And
you
I'm not
like
mad
this.
at you, Jaden. I'm just passionate. Go ahead, CJ.
And Logan, just put it to you like this, man. The Niners, and to be fair, they built pretty much a perfect roster. But when the Niners were coming off of a bloody NFC title appearance, okay, and Jimmy Garoppolo, mediocre quarterback, gets hurt. Okay, we all know that the 49ers. It's very similar to my Celtics. When they're healthy and their quarterback is upright, their floor is the NFC title game. But does that stop the Celtics or does that stop the Niners from constantly making changes to the roster? No. The Giants had been a moribund franchise for the better part of a decade. And yet fans just want to recycle, just redo the same thing over and over again, and it's getting us nowhere. You said it while
I never said drafting one. I never said draft one offensive lineman.
The Giants drafted Evan Neal, Joshua Zunu, and Marcus McFeethan in the same draft class.
One sec. How many picks? One sec. Do the Giants have in 2024? Okay. Let's go over this. Okay. So in the 2024 draft, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 draft picks. 1 in the 1, 2, 1 in the 2, 1 in the 3, 1 in the 4, 1 in the 5, 1 in the 6. Okay. That's 6 draft picks. What we need to do is get whatever the fuck we can for Saquon Barkley. Trade him. Trade him as soon as he's healthy. I'm sorry. Trade him to a competitor, get a 3rd or 4th round pick for him. That's 7 draft picks. Then what you do with Adoree Jackson by the midseason mark, because he's a free agent, you've got to trade these guys by the midseason mark if we're still trash. You trade Adoree Jackson for a 4th round pick. That's 3 4th round picks. You trade Leonard Williams for a 5th round pick. That's 8. That's now 8 picks, right? Then you trade Xavier McKinney because he is a free agent and he definitely has not earned himself another contract with us. You can get a 3rd round pick for Xavier McKinney. Darren Waller, I honestly don't know if he's going to be on this team. The receivers, they're all going to be fucking cut or let go. No one will trade for these bums. You get rid of okay, so as it stands right now, I predict that the Giants will have 8 picks in next year's draft if they trade the way that I want them to trade. And I'm not going to be like a fucking Madden GM who thinks that we can get a 1st round pick for Saquon Barkley when it's obviously not going to happen. We'd be lucky to get a 3rd, bro. So let's say the Giants get a 3rd for Saquon Barkley. So I have the Giants with 1 1st round pick, 1 2nd round pick.
They should have about 10 picks.
Yes. 2 3rd round picks, 3 4th round picks, 1 5th and 1 6th. In those picks, quarterback, guard, right tackle, wide receiver, tight end, guard, punter. Kicker, because Graham Gano's probably going to retire. That's my draft. That's my draft.
I mean, it's just that
we're not going to lose any money for trading Leo, Xavier,
They're all
or
expiring
Dory
deals
Jackson or
anyway.
Saquon, because they're all in the last year of their contract. So we lose nothing. And it's not about getting money back. It's about getting bad players off this team. And some of them aren't even bad. Saquon's not even a bad player. He just doesn't play.
Again, bro, it's just...
I'm just mad, bro. I'm tired of fucking constantly going over this shit. Just revamp this roster. Tear it up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, for real.
Yeah, no, I was just about to echo your point by saying, like, dude, you said it, Wadi. You said it on the phone earlier today, and I'm going to recap it. Listen, as much as I love him as a player, and as excited as I was at the time, the draft pick of Saquon Barkley set this team back at least 3 years. Because
I'll go over that in a minute, Jaden.
Because even if you didn't like any of the quarterbacks, okay, you could have done that trade with the Jets. Excuse me, yeah, you could have done that trade with the Jets, taken Quentin Nelson, got back some extra picks, draft Nick Chubb or whatever running back that year, sign a veteran, and then potentially drafted Burrow or Herbert or Hurts or Jordan Love, whatever quarterback that following year. You could have no, wait a minute. Saquon was 2018.
Yeah.
Burrow and them were 2020. So I'm getting my years trouble. But you could have, traded back. You could have traded back, got back some extra capital, and then draft your quarterback the following year. Okay, you could have set this team in a much better position, but instead, you tried to win. You tried to play both sides of the coins, and it backfired big time.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we were for it. Last year, both Daniel and the team were fortunate because if the quarterback draft class that we had this year, talking about Stroud, Bryce Young, and others, had that been the draft class from the 2021 draft class, Daniel's not even on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, I'm as big as a Daniel Jones supporter.
I can't defend him anymore, bro.
That you would have found. Again, I'm going to harp back by saying I was one of the few Giants fans that was actually happy that we took this kid in the 2019 draft class. Matter of fact, I was probably the only one.
No. 2017 was Watson and Mahomes, and 2019 was Justin Herbert.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Herbert, Burrow, and Tua was
2020, and then 2017 was Mahomes and Watson.
Correct.
Yeah. But
no, Mahomes and Watson was the drop before Saquon.
Yeah, and when it comes to who we're keeping, here's the guys that I think are safe on this team for at least one more season. No matter what, Daniel Jones is on this team for one more year because he's the stopgap. He is the Matthew Stafford, and we're going to get our Jared Goff. He's the Kurt Warner. We're going to get our Eli. All right? Daniel Jones is on this team. Jalen Hyatt is safe. Wan'Dale Robinson is safe. Daniel Bellinger is safe. Andrew Thomas is safe. John Michael Schmitz is safe. Kayvon Thibodeau is safe. Dexter Lawrence is safe. Bobby Okereke is safe. Deontay Banks is safe. Jason Pinnock is safe.
Trey Hawkins
is safe. There's 11 guys on this roster that I think no matter what will be on the team next year. Leo's gone. Barkley is gone. Adoree Jackson is gone. Every O-lineman on this team besides Thomas, Smith, John Michael Schmitz, and possibly Evan Neal are gone. Leonard Williams is gone.
At the very least, they're going to kick him inside.
Yeah. I think Neal moves to left guard. He can have Thomas help him. But yeah, Waller, I would trade him. I would trade him for a fifth-round pick. Because at this rate, he will be only worth a fifth-round pick. And then he'll probably go and have a fucking 1,000-yard season with whoever we trade him to because the quarterback will actually look in his direction and not overthrow him.
But yeah, man. It's depressing. depressing. I said I had a lot to get off my chest. Now we could go over not we don't need to break down every game, but we could go over most of the NFL, most of the previous week, as well as give our quick thoughts on some of our favorite games.
Yeah. So you want me to pull the schedule up real quick?
Yes, please.
I got you.
If this is your first time watching, folks, please be sure to like and subscribe. Every Tuesday, me and Logan are going to recap everything Giants related and from the previous week. And tomorrow we're going to preview every game from week 5, as well as give you our top 5 most anticipated matchups of that week.
Yep. Okay, so how do you want to do this? I'll let you take this.
Well, nah, man. I was just about to say the Lions, man. Outside of the 49ers, I can't think of a better rebuild. Like, in all seriousness. You trade away Matthew Stafford when he was at his peak, when his value could not have been any higher. You bring in a veteran, high-level quarterback in Jared Goff. You rebuilt this O-line with probably my favorite offensive tackle prospect, probably even more so than Andrew Thomas and Penei Sewell. Your offensive line is elite. You drafted my favorite edge rusher prospect the last 5 years in Hutchinson. Brian Branch, what I was heavily against in picking him in the second round, I think he's a dark horse pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Davon Witherspoon's running away with it right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
which
man.
I predicted.
Which you did rightfully predict. This one, listen, man. The Packers, I think, will eventually get it together. But for the first time in a long time, the Lions not only have the best roster in that division, they have by far and away the best quarterback in that division, and probably even the best head coach in that division.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so, I don't know if I gave my Super Bowl pick this year. I think I went with the Niners, but
I have 49ers Dolphins.
But but ask me in a few weeks, the Lions may end up being my pick because their offensive line is dominant. Their front seven is nearly as good as anybody's. Jared Goff is playing at a top 10 level. They may end up having home field advantage. They may end up having the best record in the conference, bro.
I don't know about that, but
because of how easy that division is, bro.
I think they're going to be the third best team in the NFC.
Well, I'm not talking about matchup wise. I'm just talking about records.
Oh yeah, records. They're the third best team in the NFC.
You really think so? You don't think they can finish with the number 1 seed?
I went over their schedule. They're going to go 12-5.
12-5.
Let me go over the Niners schedule right now, actually. 49ers schedule. Okay.
I still look at the Niners as a 12-13 win team.
Okay. 49ers, let's see. So right now they are fucking what? 1, 2, 3.
They're 4-0.
4-0. Yeah, they're 4-0. So they're going to beat the Cowboys 5-0. They're going to beat the Browns 6-0. They're going to beat the Vikings 7-0. They're going to beat the Bengals 8-0. They're going to beat the Jaguars 9-0. I'm going to have the Buccaneers upset. Okay.
Nah, Baker against that defense, hell no.
Okay, fine. They're going to beat the Buccaneers 9-0 or 10-0 now. They're going to lose to the Seahawks once in Seattle. They're going to lose to the Eagles. They're going to beat the Seahawks, so that's 10 wins. Then they're going to beat the Cardinals. They're going to beat the Ravens. They're going to beat the Commanders.
I don't know about that. I think the Ravens get them.
I don't know about that. So I have them at 13-4. And then when it comes to the Eagles schedule.
Well, the Cowboys are going to get them at least once.
Let me see.
Don't they play the entire AFC West? The Eagles?
I'm not sure.
No. We play the AFC East.
They're 4-0 right now. They're going to beat the Rams 5-0. They're going to beat the Jets 6-0. They're going to lose to the Dolphins. They're going to beat the Commanders. They're going to beat the Cowboys. They're going to lose to the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Bills. I don't
know.
49ers versus Ravens? Fuck no. The Ravens aren't making it. So let me just see. Let's see. They're 4-0 right now. So
I think the Eagles go 11-6.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have them at 12-5.
I have them at 11-6. But still, all in all, I think the top 4 teams in the NFC is blatantly obvious: the Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Cowboys.
Yeah. No. In the NFC, I have the Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, the Seahawks. Those are my top 4 teams.
I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Geno, but I don't know.
The Bills aren't going. The Bills aren't going.
No. Buffalo, I gotta see it to believe it.
As of right now, I got Miami as the best team in the AFC. In the NFL. Actually, no, in the AFC. In the AFC. I have the Niners as my number 1 team in the NFL.
It's still the Chiefs. It's still the Chiefs' yard until somebody takes it from me.
They got fucking bailed out against the Jets. Couldn't beat the Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're betting against Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun with that.
I bet against him 2 years ago versus the Bengals when everyone called me crazy, and it went pretty well.
All it took was the worst fourth quarter of Mahomes' career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. With that Dolphins
with Tyreek Hill though, with Tyreek Hill,
dude, with that Dolphins defense.
That Dolphins defense isn't that bad.
Yes, it is.
Let's go over this.
Yes, it is, bro. It's not good.
Let me go over this right now.
It's not good at all.
Let me see.
I mean, they got some good pieces, but overall, if you put a mid-level quarterback, they're going to get exposed.
One sec. The Dolphins are the 16th defense in football.
Yeah,
that's average. That's not bad. That is literally exactly middle of the pack.
Bro,
the Giants are 27.
Bro, you gave up 17 points to Mac Jones, which is like giving up 30 to a good team.
I'm telling you right now, the Dolphins pass rush is going to get some Mahomes.
The Dolphins are not going to the Super Bowl, bro.
How much you want to bet?
No, we already have the bet.
Oh,
remember,
that's right.
If the Dolphins make it to the Super Bowl, I have to make.
Or if they make it further than the Chiefs was the bet. If they make it further than the Chiefs.
Did I say make it farther to the Chiefs, or did I say make it to the Super Bowl?
Well, if neither of them make it to the Super Bowl, then nothing happens.
We got to do both because either way. Okay, so by your logic, by your terms, if the Dolphins get farther than the Chiefs, I have to make a video on why the 2020 QB draft class is the greatest draft class for a quarterback in NFL history. Because you have legitimately 4 top 10 quarterbacks in that draft class alone: Burrow, Herbert, Tua, and Hurts.
It wasn't 2 years ago.
Well, with Jordan Love being middle of the pack right now. But if I get farther ahead, you have to make a video on why Mahomes is already the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. All right. So that's the bet. But still, all in all, the Dolphins are legit contenders. That's not the argument. The question is, can you trust that defense in a playoff setting? Because I already said they remind me a lot of Sean McVay's first year with the Rams. Offense is electrifying. Defense, it's got some pieces.
They have one of the best front sevens in football.
Yeah, but their back end is very questionable.
Well, if you can get to the quarterback before I'm telling you right now, they are getting to Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
They got Bradley Chubb, what's his name? The other edge rusher.
The Eagles' defensive line couldn't get much pressure on Mahomes.
The Eagles' defense is overrated as fuck.
I said their pass rush.
But old as fuck. Bro, I'm telling you right now. Watch.
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Just how I was right about Sauce Gardner, I was right about Davon Witherspoon, I was right about all these quarterbacks, I was right about all these guys.
And who is that on the Dolphins back line?
Xavier Howard.
He is not.
Jalen Ramsey.
You were done with Jalen Ramsey a year ago.
What's his name? The safety. What's his name?
Mika?
No. Mika plays for the Steelers.
Okay,
no, he's one of the best safeties in football right now.
Javon Holland.
Yes, Javon Holland.
Okay. You got one great piece.
I'm telling you right now, the Dolphins are going further than the Chiefs.
Okay. We'll see. I'm just saying, Mahomes has yet to not be in the AFC title game.
Okay. It can be the AFC title game, and they will still beat them. I'm telling you right now.
We'll see. We'll get that. We get that game in a couple of weeks in London, so that'll be our preview.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Do me a favor. Pull up the rest of the schedule so I could do a quick recap.
Yep.
Because the game that I really want to get into is both of our non-Giants' biggest disappointment.
Titans wouldn't beat the Bills, right, CJ?
I hate you.
Exactly. I own you.
I hate you.
All right.
Okay. No, go. Logan, what the hell happened to your Bengals, man? What the hell happened?
My Bengals. What do you
Your
mean?
Bengals, the team you picked to get to the AFC title game this year.
Yeah, I had Joe Burrow winning MVP.
You had
with
Burrow
5,000
winning
passing
MVP right
yards.
now, and bro, I know he's hurt. Okay. Zach Taylor is not a good head coach.
No,
I
he's
believe
not.
that ever since his first year there. I'm like, okay, they're going to get Joe Burrow. He's going to carry them. They're going to draft Jamar Chase. Their offense, listen, I'm not knocking Zach Taylor as an offensive mind. He's good. But when it comes to game plan, when it comes to X's and O's, when it comes to making in-game adjustments, the best coach on that Bengals coaching staff is their DC. Lou, I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Ferrigno?
But the Bengals, man.
It's
Now
Lou Anaramo? Lou
Yes, there you go.
Anarumo.
Anaramo.
Anaramo, yeah.
Listen, bro. You remember, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, where after Burrow made it to the conference finals, to the conference championship game, and I already had him as like a top 3, top 6 level quarterback.
Yeah.
By even going as far as saying he's better than Aaron Rodgers at this point.
Yeah.
Well, but CJ, look at he's got Jamar Chase, he's got T. Higgins, he's got Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon. Okay? He's the one that makes it. Jamar Chase, I'll give you. But the rest of those receivers are C+ to B level receivers, guys.
No, T. Higgins is a number 1 on most teams.
Okay, on most teams. But with Joe Burrow throwing him the football, he looks like a legit superstar level receiver. And
when healthy, Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the league.
Hello. And this notion, this perception that Joe Burrow, since he's entered the league, or really since his second year in the league, has played with above average talent. No, the hell he hasn't. If this Bengals team misses a month without Joe Burrow, they are by far and away the worst team in football by a country mile.
Calm down. They're not the worst team in football.
Logan.
The Bears.
Logan. They look terrible with Joe Burrow hobbling on one leg. What do you think this team looks like if he's gone completely?
Okay, I'll give you that.
They will be in the Marvin Harrison sweepstakes, which is what's terrifying to me, is because if this team ends up with a top, let's just say for the sake of argument,
they damn well better not take a fucking wide receiver, bro.
If Marvin Harrison Jr. is staring them in the face with, let's say, the 5th pick of the draft, who do you think they're going with?
I would trade back and take a tackle, but that's because
that's what they should do. What do you think they will do?
Oh, that Jamar Chase and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not even fair, bro.
It's not fair to Joe Burrow because he has no line. Like, bro, listen. I understand that once you get so close to the mountaintop.
If I'm Joe Burrow and they don't take a lineman, I'm holding out.
Logan. Well, they already paid him, so.
I mean, Logan. Yeah, but he can refuse to play. He's got human rights.
Yep, Logan. I understand when you're this close to the mountaintop that you're looking for that one extra push to get you over the hump. That's what Buffalo did last year when they signed Von Miller to that ridiculous 6-year extension or contract. Okay, I understand if you're the Bengals, You've been to a Super Bowl. You've been to an AFC title. You've been to an AFC championship game. If you have a major down year, it's going to feel like a major disappointment. It's going to feel like the absolute heartbreak. But guess what? The 90s Bulls need to take it. The 90s Bulls needed to take a step back. The Patriots needed to take a step back. The Warriors needed to take a step back.
Yep.
It is okay for you to have one down year so you can be excellent potentially for the next 3 years. Okay? If I'm the Bengals, you have to sit Joe Burrow down until he's completely healthy. And if the season goes to hell, just do it. Like, I'd rather take one major leap back if it means exceeding it for the next 3 years. Even if you win 9 games and you sneak into the playoffs, then what? You want to get trounced by Miami's pass rush? You want to get embarrassed by Buffalo now that their defense has gotten their shit together? You want to get crushed by the Ravens? Like, what's your end game, Cincinnati? Like, seriously. Zach Taylor is not a good head coach, and this year you could expose him for being a lack of a head coach this year. It will do you better in the long term if Joe Burrow sits out this year. It just is. Okay? Moving on. I really don't want to get into any of these blowouts. I mean, Jaguars and Falcons. All I heard was that the Falcons were going to be the surprise team of the year. And I'm looking at their roster, and I'm like, it's got some good pieces. I like Drake London. I think Bijan is going to be excellent. I love Kyle Pitts. Arthur Smith, I think he's a really good head coach.
He won't be on that team in 5 years.
But who's their quarterback?
It should, bro. Imagine Caleb Williams on that team.
They would probably run away with that division. Guys, listen. Desmond Riddler. How do you pronounce his right name?
Ritter.
I keep wanting to call him the Riddler. Desmond Ritter. Listen. How can I say this politely?
Your ass.
Desmond Ritter is the exact type of quarterback people have been trying so hard to convince me that Daniel Jones is. It's like he's nothing more than an athletic prowess. Daniel Jones is at least capable of making throws within the pocket.
Yeah, but he continues to stare down.
Desmond Ritter cannot. He cannot. I have yet to see one half decent throw from Desmond Ritter, and Falcons fans will have me convinced that he's going to be the breakout player of this year. Since when? He was a 4th round pick. He was the 4th best quarterback of his draft class. That wasn't even good.
He's better than Malik Willis.
Is he?
Yeah, he can actually earn a starting job.
Yeah, because at least Malik Willis has 2 veterans.
How? No, he doesn't. He has Ryan Tannehill and Will Levis.
Okay.
You can't beat out Will Levis.
Will Levis is better than Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why Malik Willis can't play right now.
Malik Willis, that just goes to show how confident that they are in Malik Willis. They drafted him.
Okay, so let's break it down. He's not Purdy. He's not Purdy. He's not Pickett. He's not freaking. Who's the other quarterback?
Exactly.
That just speaks to how trash.
That's probably the worst QB draft of all time in the modern era.
You may have an argument for that. But it's still clear as 2021's.
Yeah.
You got 4 busts and you have 1 good.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, man. I hate to break it to him. But yeah, man. The Jaguars, this game went pretty much as well as I thought it would be. The Falcons could run the ball as good as anybody, but their passing game is horrifying. It is horrifying. And they have a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah, 2021's draft class, Trevor Lawrence, and that's it. They
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Justin
Well,
Fields, trash. Trey Lance, trash. Mac Jones, trash.
average.
Zach Wilson, trash.
Average. No, I say Mac is about average.
No, the fuck. He's not even better than Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
He's not even better than Sam Howell. You got me. You're right. Sam Howell. You're right. You got me. You got me. You're right. You're right. Okay. Sam Howell is actually the best QB in that class right now. He's above Pickett on my list. Pickett was not. Again? Sam Howell at this Trey.
Oh yeah, Sam Howell. I forgot about him.
Trey Lance is trash. He couldn't even win the starting job over a Mr. Irrelevant. He is fucking garbage. He's not even on the 49ers roster anymore. But yeah, Sam Howell is better than Kenny Pickett.
Oh yeah, and Desmond Ridder for that point.
Yeah. So you were right. Yeah.
All right. So scroll down. We're gonna break down a few more games. Ravens blowing out the Browns. Who fucking cares? DTR is a raw rookie. Yeah. Try to think. Vikings get their first win. Congratulations. This game had me pissed off in so many different directions.
He's with the Cowboys, Jaden.
Logan, answer this question for me. As bad as we've been for the last decade, who's been the one team we've been able to consistently beat?
Washington.
Even when the Giants were good, who was the one team that always gave us issues?
The Cowboys.
I was going to say Philly. But...
Oh, yeah. But, you know.
Yet, how does Washington, even though they lose more times than not to Philadelphia, why is it that they always give Philadelphia a run for their money? Like with this, the fact that this game went into overtime had me petrified. I mean,
the Giants are the worst team in the NFC. Or the second worst team. The Giants are the second worst team in the NFC.
Behind Chicago?
Yes. We might even be worse than them.
Maybe. All right, now we get on to the potential rent, man. These fucking Chargers.
Nah, Jaden, we're not winning. Actually, yeah, we'll win one game in the division this year. That's my prediction.
Okay, yeah.
Washington. It'll be against Washington. Bro, Brandon Staley can suck my ass. That dude needs to be fired.
Logan.
But they won because, you know.
It's freaking Aiden O'Connell. Logan.
Purdue, baby.
Logan.
CJ.
Once upon a time.
In Hollywood?
In Hollywood. I wrote a script when I was in high school. And no matter how perfectly things are for the Chargers, somehow, some way, they're going to mess it all up.
Somehow, some way, I be coming up with funky ass shit like every single day.
Logan, the Raiders are not a good team.
No.
That's kind of obvious. The Broncos, I don't care they fucking won. They may be at the bottom of the scorched earth when it comes to dumpster fires as far as the NFL goes.
That surprised me too, man, because they have a talented team on paper and one of the greatest coaches ever.
This is the most vulnerable the Chiefs have been since the Patrick Mahomes era. The division is right there for the Chargers to take. And yet, fucking Brandon Staley cannot get out of his own way. The Chargers, man. Drew Brees, Hall of Famer. Phillip Rivers, Hall of Famer.
Justin Herbert, probably a Hall of Famer.
Justin Herbert, top 5 level quarterback in my opinion. Loaded roster, good online, good weapons, good defense. Brandon Staley, you're a fucking defensive-minded coach. You got fucking Jimmy Garoppolo, washed Russell Wilson. Patrick Mahomes' best receiver is Isaiah Pacheco. You have arguably the most loaded roster in all of football. And yet this team is this mediocre? You almost blow a 24-3 lead against the Raiders?
With Aiden O'Connell as a quarterback.
You have Khalil Mack looking like prime Lawrence Taylor out there. And yet you still nearly blow it. I don't know what it is with this Chargers team, man. I don't know what it is with this head coach. I don't know what it is with this roster, man. But this roster is too fucking good to be this average. I mean, seriously, this is head coaching malpractice right here. You're going for it at the most minuscule time, at the worst time possible. If the Chargers had blown that game, their head coach, the entire team, all the veterans would have given up on Brandon Staley at that point. It's unfathomable at how mid this team is. It really is. I mean, I can get by the Giants being a dumpster fire because at the end of the day, the roster is not good. The Chargers have potentially a top 5 roster with a top 5 quarterback with an elite offensive mind.
With an elite running back who I'll give credit wasn't playing last week. But, you know.
Continue. This, Logan, is what separates the Ravens roster. I mean, this is what separates the Baltimore Ravens to the Chargers. We all know the Ravens have a good roster. But unfortunately, they're always just riddled with injuries. Always. Whether it's to their quarterback, or their offensive lineman, or their wide receiver, or a corner, or a safety, or an edge rusher. It does not fucking matter. Running backs. It does not fucking matter. As long as John Harbaugh is there, the Ravens are always going to be in the mix. They're always going to be within the playoff hunt. Even with a hampered roster, the Chargers, you can give them the most loaded, you can give them the most healthy roster on the planet. And they will find a way to fuck it up. I can't with this team, man. I do not care if they win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs. If this team does not get to the AFC Championship game, Brandon Staley needs to go. Period. They should have fired him last year when they blew that 24-0 lead to Trevor Lawrence.
That was crazy. We called that game.
Who didn't even have that great of a performance.
He threw 4 interceptions in the first half.
Like, bro. Again, unless this Chargers team gets to the AFC title game, and even then, I would still consider it. Brandon Staley's got to go.
Brandon Staley needs to go no matter what. He's just not a fit for that team.
No, he's not.
A guy like Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame would be a fit for that team.
Hello.
But we don't really got to get into the rest of these games because we already.
Oh, no. I want to give a shout out to I want to give a serious shout out to the Jets. Shout out to Zach Wilson for playing his ass off.
Daniel Jones is officially the worst quarterback in New York.
Why'd you have to go there? I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you, but did you really have to say that? That's my one Stephen A. Smith impression for the evening. Look, man. First of all, let me just get the elephant out of the room. Jets, that was holding. Sauce Gardner had basically rode him, pause, for like 10 yards, for like 3 or 4 seconds, bro. Yes, Jermaine Johnson was held too. It should have been offsetting penalties. However, everyone and their grandmothers knew that the Chiefs were going to pull it out in the end. What I would have liked to see Zach Wilson with the ball, with the chance to win, yes, I would have. But at the end of the day, this was the outcome that was inevitable. The Chiefs always make these games tougher than they need to be. I give the Jets credit. I give Zach Wilson a ton of credit. Okay, I had written this kid off for dead after the Jets bye week last season, and so I tried to tell Jets fans throughout the off season, the defense is phenomenal. It's going to keep you in a lot of games, but unless you play to your strength and you run the football and you play action pass off of it, you're going to get a lot of games like this. And I'm sorry to break it to y'all, but Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb are not complimented. Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb, at this point of their careers, they're complimentary receivers. They're not premier targets anymore. Garrett Wilson is your only proven weapon. Matter of fact, I can make a strong argument that the Jets' second best receiver
Brees
is
Hall.
Dalvin Cook or Brees Hall. Like Alan Lazard, Nicole Hardman, freaking Randall Cobb, they're not it. They're not it. Okay? Like, I give the Jets credit. I feel bad for them because their season is going down the toilet bowl as well.
Yeah, but at least they can at least they can tip their hats on the fact that the only reason they're not winning games is because Aaron Rodgers isn't there. If Aaron Rodgers was there, they'd be a 10-win team.
Probably. Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers was here with the Giants, we'd probably be like a 7-win team.
Yeah. Most likely.
But
look, okay, so before we wrap things up, other than our premier take at the start of this episode when discussing Daniel Jones and the state of the Giants, what are your overall viewpoints as far as this previous week goes?
interesting. There are too many blowouts. It was like college football. But it was a solid week, and this is the week that broke the Giants. It's over.
The way I view it this week, after this week, man, coming into this year, I had probably thought that there were, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 teams that I thought could realistically win the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got the Niners, you got Philly, you had the Bengals at the time in Kansas City. But now, I know we're only a quarter way through the season, and I hate bringing this team up in the conversation. I could realistically see about 6, maybe even 7 teams competing for the Super Bowl this year, realistically speaking.
Which is good for the league, man, because I'm tired of just 2 teams at the top.
The same 3 or 4 teams every year. The Chiefs, obviously. The Dolphins are high on that bar. Trying to think of other. Obviously Philly. The
Lions.
Lions, Cowboys. That's 5.
Seattle.
Baltimore, Seattle, and there's one more that I'm missing.
The Dolphins.
I said the Dolphins.
Oh, the Bills?
And Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, for that matter. Because defensively, they looked about as well as humanly possible. The wild card is going to be Josh Allen, ultimately.
Forget about the Giants, bro.
You're very funny. You're very funny indeed. But all right, folks, that's going to be the end of this episode. I want to thank my partner in crime, Logan, here for doing this stream late with me. It's late at night. I got to get ready for bed soon. So please be sure to like and subscribe for more episodes. Tomorrow, me and Logan are going to be doing our preview for the Week 5 NFL schedule, and potentially, now that we are in my favorite time of the year, the return of the CJ
Turn of the Mac.
Yes, the return of the men, the return of Mr. Mac Daddy himself, Mr. CJ Talks Movies, as well as my usual partner in crime, LGZ Productions. We will somewhere down the line give you our top 5 more. We'll be giving you our top 5 favorite horror movies to watch this time of the year during the Halloween season. You guys are the best. More content will be coming up pretty shortly. And Logan, tell the people where they could find you.
LGZ Productions on YouTube, Pixelated Films for my movie channel, and Logan_Sportboy on Twitter. If you can't find the right profile, it's the one with the picture of Pauly D screaming as the profile picture.
Yeah, you guys could just find me at CJ Talk Sports on Twitter or on Instagram. Just look for the nerdy kid. Just look for the nerdy kid doing one of these while smiling very stupidly. But outside of that, you guys could also find me on Facebook or on YouTube.
Nobody uses Facebook, bro.
I know, but it's my second most used social media platform. So
damn, it's not Pornhub.
With that being said, folks, I'm going to be logging out soon. Talk to you guys later. You guys are the best.
Peace.
And peace out.